Welcome to another Winnell's Hot Topics debate. Now, since George Osborne's announcement last week, the full details of the government's budget cuts have sent shockwaves through the nation. And it is feared Winchester could be among some of the hardest places hit. Today we'll be debating the issue of the budget cuts as I'm joined in the studio by regional spokesman of the University and College Union, Mick Jardine, Conservative Winchester councillor Ian Tate, and ex-Labour candidate for Winchester, Patrick Davies. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Now, with public sector employment critical to the local economy, do you believe Winchester can cope with the massive proposed cuts to the public sector? Start with you, Ian.
I think the answer to that is yes. Winchester has a vibrant economy, and so although it's going to be challenging times, yeah, I'm certain that Winchester will get through the cuts better than many other places.
But in the district of Winchester, around 35% of employment is believed to be within the public sector. Do you expect big job cuts at the council, Ian?
There are certainly going to be meaningful cuts at the council, but we're looking at figures of 70 members of staff over the next 3 years, and that's out of a workforce of approaching 500. So with natural wastage, the numbers are not going to be as dramatic as perhaps the headlines appear.
Can I just come in? It seems to me it's a mistake just to look at the one district council position, because of course in Winchester there are a lot of public service jobs right across the board in the health sector, the police, the county council. There are thousands of people working in the public sector in the city itself, let alone the wider district. And I think, although I agree with Mick about the sort of national perspective on this, nevertheless in Winchester there are going to be very serious problems created by unemployment in a way that we've never seen before, because the county council, which is a very big employer, and the police are likely to have very significant reductions over the next few years in the number of people they employ.
Ian, do you know in particular what sort of sectors and areas within the council and the public sector will be affected the most by the budget cuts?
No, invariably it's always going to be back office staff, and we're going to protect frontline services, but the scale of the cuts is going to impact upon the services we deliver to residents in Winchester, but those details are yet to be determined, so that I'm afraid we have ahead of us. So precise job losses are not that clear at the moment.
Could I just comment quickly on that? I mean, my main interest is education and the university here where I work, but I really can't comprehend this I think false distinction the Tories or the coalition make between back and front, because as far as I'm concerned, using the university as an example, I can't manage without the admin support. I'm a frontline teacher, but I couldn't do my job. I couldn't do my job without the faculty support from admin staff. So it would come as no delight to me if it's so-called backroom staff who lose their jobs. I think it's a false distinction. I think public services are going to be badly hit by what the Tory cuts are doing.
And I agree with Mick. The difficulty is that it's being alleged by the coalition that if you cut public service jobs in the public sector, somehow the private sector will take up the slack. But there's no evidence that can happen. I mean, the people you make redundant or you sack from the county council or the police or the university or wherever else, or schools, they're not going to find jobs in the private sector. There just aren't those jobs around for them to do.
I think there has to be, unfortunately, a tendency to look at back office functions more so than frontline services. But a job lost it has a very meaningful impact on that individual, and it has a bigger impact than just that single job. There are families involved. So I think the coalition government, in fairness to that, I think they fully realise that this is not a pleasant position to be in, and anyone who loses a job is for them personally nothing less than a disaster.
On the subject of education, Mick, well, it's projected 617 million savings in the education sector. And a cutback of around 10,000 places at universities nationwide. How do you think these proposals, among many, will affect the University of Winchester in general?
Well, the University of Winchester is particularly exposed because in their wisdom the Tory only put taxpayers' money into so-called STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering and